Alright guys, so today we're going to speak about what's happening in the markets and what can we expect for the coming weeks or months in order to make money and profit from all this situation. We need to have in mind first of all that with the global uncertainty and all the war stuff, I would advise everyone to remove the lower time frames from your trading, as they can and most likely will become very choppy, and stick to the higher time frames like H1 or H4 to avoid consolidation losses. So let's take a look first at the XY. If we take a look at the monthly chart, we can see that this bearish fair value gap first was used to make new lows, and then we used it to go higher. So right now we took the last year's low and we are seeing how we are going for the highs. This is just a consolidation at this point, but I'm expecting this high to be taken soon. If we take a look at the weekly chart, we can see that we closed above this bearish breaker block, and now we are heading for these highs. We can expect something like this as this point of interest should hold. And now let's take a look at the daily chart. In the daily chart we can see that we took this high right here, and right now it would make sense to drop lower into this daily fair value gap, create a strong low, and go higher for the drop liquidity we have right here. So this is my plan right now. I'm going to leave here an alert, and I'm going to so if we take a look at the euro, I think the 3 months chart speaks a lot about the current situation. We can see that we have this range. I'm still expecting a higher euro during the coming years. We created this strong low, and right now we have this weak low and this fair value gap with this breaker block right here. We also have this low resistance liquidity highs, so it makes sense to expect something like this. Alright, if we take a look at the monthly chart, we can see that we took this high and now we are having a strong bearish reaction. We can expect this weak low to be taken. We could retrace a bit more for this breaker block, and then I will expect higher prices as I said. And if we drop to the weekly chart, we can see that inside this range we have this bullish fair value gap that wasn't respected last week. So I would expect continuations around here in order to take this weak low. So let's take a look at pound now. We also have this range here and these lows. I guess that they are SMT with XY. Yeah, they are. So I would not like to see price going lower than here. And this is the breaker block we are trading right now. We are also inside this IFPG, and after taking this week high, we can expect this week low to be taken, or at least create an SMT in order to go higher. And if we drop to the daily chart, we can see that it looks exactly the same as euro. It is just with more strength, so I would rather short euro. But we have this flat open inside this IFPG, so I would expect something like this to happen. If we take a look at USD Swissie, we can see that it is kinda bearish right here. We have this range, but if we combine this with DXY, we have to have in mind that this is most likely a short-term retracement, not a local top. So we only want to short USD X currencies when DXY is bearish. So even though Swissie looks strong paired with the dollar, we need to have in mind that if DXY is bullish, we can't short this. Right now, I would wait for the reaction at this daily fair value gap, but I don't like very much that DXY doesn't look that bearish in order to short these currencies. The same happens with usdcad, but in this case it does really look bearish. We can see that we tapped this PPR and the reaction was very strong. So right now, if I had to take a trade, I would try to short this pair till DXY takes this weak low. But as I said, the higher time frame bias for this Y is bullish, so we don't want to take much risk shorting USD pairs. If we take a look at crypto, we can see that Bitcoin went for this IFPG, and right now we are retracing the whole move, and it looks like we are going to continue lower. Let's drop to the weekly chart, and we can see that this key level has been respected. If we drop to the daily chart, it does look like a perfect retracement or manipulation to take this week high, and right now if we get a close below the monthly open, it should continue lower for all these lows we have right here. So what am I going to do right now with Bitcoin? Alright, so first we have the possibility of this just going lower from here and using this breaker block to trade lower. In that case, I will try to short and short all the continuations we get. But also, there's another possibility of us just consolidating here for a while, not really displacing much below this level, and take again this weekly high and then make the real move, right? So I want to see what's price doing around here, if it shows momentum, and seeing what price will do, I will act accordingly. Ethereum is in the same situation as Bitcoin. We can see that the weekly chart looks horrible right now. And if we drop to the daily chart, we can see the same. We took this daily wick high, daily week high with equal highs, and right now we are showing some momentum below the monthly open, so we should see this level sooner than later. But as I said, this will depend also on Bitcoin's strength. So I want to see if price manages to break this level and displace lower, or if we are just in a consolidation around this level. Overall, I'm very bearish in terms of crypto and stocks at this point of the cycle, but we also have dropped a lot since the last high we made, so I don't think being a very aggressive peer right now will pay, right? We need to short, of course, if price is going lower, but we want to make intelligent bets. Solana is pretty much in the same situation as Bitcoin and Ethereum, obviously. We have this daily IFPG that got respected, so if we get a close below here, we can expect these lows to be taken sooner than later. Now let's take a look at indices. We can see that we took this size and we just swept the lows. We also have these lows, and this is not looking very bullish, but I'm not a fan of this type of structures in order to short anything, because there's a lot of liquidity above here, so we could still pull something like this and it will be completely okay. And last but not least, metals. We can see that gold has a very interesting setup right now going on. And why do I say this? Because first, we had this fair value gap, this block right here, and this flat open that has been taken. And then we had this daily fair value gap that we created during the huge downside candle we had, and inside this fair value gap we saw the first wick high being taken. The reaction wasn't good at all, but then we had this daily sweep and we had a strong momentum to the upside, getting closes above this level. And right now everyone was longing this level, expecting an SMT with silver, but what happened was that we took the week high and we've been consolidating for a while. This is pretty normal in terms of gold price action, but if we manage to close above this daily fair value gap from the last manipulation, we could expect something like this to happen, and we could look for new highs during the coming weeks. So gold is back on the menu, if you ask me, and this is pretty much the update of the market. I hope it clears your ideas and you can make money from this. See ya.